What's up, everybody? It is I, Game J, and I have returned from my brief hiatus, and it wasn't because I wanted to not do a show. It's just because, oh my God, life has been busy. A few updates. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me get through the plugs before I get into anything else. And let me just pull up my notes here. I really should have pulled them out before. Ha ha ha, pull out. Ha ha, phrasing. That's what You Beautiful. No. Let me get through these social media plugs before I forget. You can find me on Instagram at GameJSUS. Please give me a follow there if you want to see some of my stories when I post about, voiceovers I've done, or I've been flirting with an idea of other stuff, but maybe that might be a thing for something different in the future. Go subscribe to me on YouTube at GameJ. You can follow me on X, or aka Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. I call it Twitter. Some people call it X. Oh God, so terrible. GameJ1, number 1, not the word. Don't be silly. You can also find me on Twitch at GameJ. I'm on Blue Sky at GameJ. I'm on Spotify at GameJ. And if you want to join the Discord, the 50 Shades of J Discord, we have a very active community. There's a lot of nice people there. Sometimes the community's active. It's just one of those things. Depends what's going on with everybody's lives. And, that's pretty much it. Those are all the plugs. Oh, yeah, I got music. Game J on Spotify. I think I said that a second ago. You could find the podcast. God damn it, I did it again. You could find the show, Phrasing with Jay, on Spotify. You could also find it on YouTube Music, and at Cited TV as well. So it's just one of those things. And thank you very much to Cited TV for always supporting me and everything that I do. I have no idea how long this show is actually going to run. No idea whatsoever. It is very late where I am, and I am absolutely thrashed by training and all this other type of stuff. And that's actually something I'm going to get into today. A little bit about training. I know. Like, Jay, you're supposed to be talking about acting and all this other stuff. Yeah, I know. I will. Don't worry about it. I was thinking about this. Just for a quick update about Jay, living with Jay. Ooh, that sounds weird. No, just life with Jay. Jay life. Life with game. Game with light. No, not game with Jay. That's a different thing. Anyways, little life update. I have actually moved, and I'm in the new place now, and this will get into a few different things. The first thing I'm going to talk about before I forget is training in martial arts, in the bodybuilding competition that I'm prepping to. I actually found out I'm about 2 years away, 1.5 to 2 years from active competition. And that's a long time. It feels like it, but days go by quicker than people think. And that's the truth. I got a lot of stuff coming up in June. I'm filming a movie in June called The Turned. It's a short film, and I got a pretty cool role. I can't really tell you much more about it, but rest assured, you'll be seeing my face all over the internet again. But this time it'll be in the movie, and hopefully it won't be one of those weird deep fake things that I see you fans doing, and as genuinely off-putting it is to see myself do things that I know I didn't do. It's kind of cool. Not angry about it. But anyway, I'll talk about The Turn in a second. It's actually a really dope project. But if I remember, my brain goes 50 million different places at once, and it all depends on my mood. Anyway, I'm going to shut up, but talk about training. One of the things that I never thought about when I moved was, oh shit, I got to find a new gym that's closer to me. Because the gym I go to, I used to go to, I frequented for about 2 to 3 years, and that place was like a second home to me. It's a small, family-owned private gym. It's not one of those big commercial gyms, which I kind of have my own issues with. There's just something so sanitized about big commercial gyms, and there's no personality to them. Yeah, you got the machines, and most of the time those big commercial gyms have better equipment in a sense. It's more updated, and those types of things. But the gym I would go to, I knew everybody there. I knew the staff. I knew the owner. I know the personal trainers. I know the regular gym goers versus the new gym goers. And it was actually kind of a cool thing. I got to see the young generation of gym goers grow up there, go off to college. And then I got to see the new batch of young kids just getting into the gym and just figuring it all out. And I was there throughout that entire shift and that transition of all these young kids growing up and leaving. And then these new young kids come in and they're just playing around in the gym and figuring it out. And it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to see the generational shift and then to see the whole clientele shift from everybody you used to know that you got in contact with and you started talking to and through the gym and stuff like that, to the new generation come in where you say hi and you help them with a spot or you give them advice on a heavy bag. If you know what you're doing, don't give people advice if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's stupid. And then it was one of those things where I also got to see this shift of other clients who would cycle in and out because some people would move, some people would have changes in work. And I swear to God, I just heard someone screaming, so I have no fucking idea what's going on. This place is wacky. The place I'm at now is cool as fuck. It's just, I'm the loudest person here, but like, Jesus Christ, I just heard something strange. I don't know if the microphone picked it up. Cool if it did, cool if it didn't, whatever. Just a little Easter egg. I have weird shit going on at this place all the time. But anyway, I just to see the clientele shift and rotate. Some people move away. You have new gym members join, and then you get to hang out with those personalities and see what they're like. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed being part of this ecosystem that is the gym culture that particular gym had developed and had evolved over time. And when I moved, I remember talking to my personal trainer and the gym owners and all that kind of stuff. And I remember saying, well, gym owner, there's only one owner. And I was talking to the other personal trainers and the other people who have assisted me in training and growing my own knowledge in bodybuilding and strength training and strength and conditioning and all this type of stuff that I apply to my own training today. And I remember walking up to the gym owner going, hey man, I feel kind of bad. And he looks at me and goes, why? He goes, why is that, Jay? I go, because I feel like I'm going to cheat on you guys. Like, I don't want to go to a different gym. It fucking sucks. I don't want to go to a different gym and have to, I feel like I was leaving home. And he looked at me and he understood what I meant. And he kind of smiled at me. He's like, Jay, I get it. But look, man, it's a matter of proximity and where you're at. And don't feel bad about it. And he goes, you're still welcome here anytime you want to train. And I go, oh yeah, I know. Thank you. So I still got my membership there. And long story short, I found, I did a few searches on a couple gyms, but one gym I went to, it was too small and it's cool and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I didn't like it. And that's a weird thing. And then I found another gym that was a little closer. And for whatever reason, I appreciated the layout. I liked how it looked. It was small in a way, and it's not tight knit like the other gym I was just at that I used to go to for like 2 to 3 years on a consistent basis. And believe it or not, I still go there. I find myself, oddly enough, having to be in that area anyway, so I end up going and then going to do whatever business I have to attend to afterwards. So I still go, and it's right next to a grocery store, like one of the cheaper ones where you get your protein and all that kind of shit for cheap. So I just typically train over there anyway. And so I'm split between 2 different gyms, and it boggles my mind. I never thought I'd have to switch gyms. And this matters to anybody who's involved in fitness and they have a gym that they committed to, that they love going to. They love the people there. They love the equipment. They love the workouts they get there. They get it. And switching gyms. And I remember training at this new gym. And there's nothing wrong with it necessarily. It's just that they don't got certain things. Like they don't have a squat rack, but they got a great leg press. See, here's the thing. They don't have certain things. But the things that they do have are of very high quality. And then I was talking to one of the workers there, and it turns out in the next month or something like that. They're getting a whole shitload of new equipment, like a better rack of dumbbells, more updated equipment and machines. So it's a little more high tech than the other gym I go to. And I was thinking about this and I'm going, that's interesting, because I remember the workout I did, the first one I did, and Jesus Christ, it was a back and leg workout. And I don't know why I mixed the two together. I think it's just because I was doing pull muscles and I kind of mixed the two, and I just annihilated myself. And then today at the other gym, I was doing another pull day. But that was because the day before I'd done a push workout and all that kind of stuff. So it just depends on the type of split you have. And all splits are different. And what I've been trying to figure out is what split works best for me, for not just aesthetic bodybuilding. And this is a thing. I've talked about this on the show before. I'll talk about it again. I think aesthetic bodybuilding is fine, but there's also something I kind of don't like about it. I have no problem with other people wanting to go into a gym setting and work out and build muscle and look better and feel better and have more confidence and helps their mental health. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I come from combat sports. So for me, building muscle that isn't useful for anything isn't something I necessarily enjoy. So I've always fallen back on strength training and getting stronger, and then keeping up with my bag work and my shadow boxing and my fighting, because I want to make sure that if I have to fight, if I'm put in a position where I got to starch somebody, I can do it. And I don't say this out of ego. I just say that this is the background I come from. I come from combat sports. You know, I'm a former Taekwondo champion. I've fought in mixed martial arts. I practice Muay Thai and kickboxing and all these things, and I've always done it. So me having to switch focus and go, okay, now it's aesthetic bodybuilding, I didn't like that. So what I did was I switched the A. I went, fuck aesthetic bodybuilding. I'm still going to do it, but I'm going to do athletic bodybuilding. Yes, I'm going to do hypertrophy training and all these types of things that is required for aesthetic bodybuilding, but I'm also going to make sure that my 5 compound lifts are strong, because that'll give me a benchmarker for strength all across the board. And the 5 core compound lifts that I'm talking about is a bench, a military press, a barbell row, a squat, and a deadlift. Now, that doesn't mean I rack up the bar with as much weight as I can do in one rep and just that's it. No, I'm talking about traditional strength training. Do like 3 sets of 5. 3 sets of 5. And you'd be amazed at the results you get in like a couple months. It works. You'll find on the internet that a lot of people overcomplicate strength training. Dude, people overcomplicate everything on the internet. And I understand why they do it. There's a level of content that people are trying to create, like swipe workouts and all this type of shit. It's fucking stupid. And look, I'll tell you the truth. There's no magic formula. There's no magic pill you take. There's no one workout is the ultimate workout for every single human on earth. That's not how it works. All human bodies are different, and genetics play a gigantic factor into what suits you best. I mean, Jesus Christ, you could give me and another person the same workout, the same diet. We could all be working at the same rate, as hard as we can, not half-assing our workouts and our training sessions, and everybody's going to have differing results because of genetics. It's just one of those things that's a reality check for people, and I don't know how many people actually think about it. But anyways, I was talking about this, changing gyms, and it's such a surreal experience when you go from a gym that you're used to going into a different gym setting that you're not used to. Now, I will okay, my watch is banging. Everybody was cool. I had no issues with anybody there. I actually was, because the gym's smaller, there's one mirror, and I was doing dumbbell exercises while this chick was next to me, and she was doing sandbag exercises. And I looked over and I was like, holy shit, this chick is fucking killing it. Like, she's whipping this sandbag around like it's Rapunzel's hair from the movie Tangled. She's That fucking girl was fearsome. That shit was crazy. So I greatly appreciated it. I remember looking at her and I said, hey, and she takes her headphones off and goes, yes. I go, that was savage. That was awesome. And she goes, oh, thank you. Da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, no, don't mention it. Fucking frightening. But that's just what it is. And if I go back to what I was talking about, like, yes, I do aesthetic bodybuilding, but I've also made sure to keep the strength training to keep the strength training mixed in to the aesthetic bodybuilding that I am doing. So what I'm doing now is what I talked about earlier in previous episodes. I'm still doing the strength training component. Like I'll warm up light like everybody does, stretch, all those types of things. And then I'll hit heavy. And when I'm not able to do heavy stuff anymore, that's when I just double down and I burn out, and then I do the hypertrophy training. Is it harder? Yes, it is. It's a lot harder. But I also don't care, because if you look at it objectively, like, okay, if you go to a gym, you're only training for about an hour and a half, okay? In that hour to an hour and a half, I train 2 hours because it just depends on the day, the split, what I'm doing, what body parts I have to work, blah, 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 blah. On average, people are in there 45 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. For whatever amount of time you're in that gym, keep the intensity up. Why, if you go into a gym and half-ass your sets and your reps, what the fuck are you there for? Now, I know that this philosophy and this mentality doesn't work for everybody. If you go into a gym setting, to a gymnasium, you can take one look around at how people train and you can tell if they're half-assing it or not. I early on understood, and this probably because I come from martial arts, that don't half-ass your training. You give everything. If you give everything, you will rest, recover, you eat your food, you keep your nutrition right, and then when you go back, you are better. I'm not saying you're going to be stronger every time. Strength is something that goes up and down. It goes in waves, just like your body. Strength is like a season, just like your body, and everybody's different. Maybe this is just how my body works, but there's some days I can bench and I'll be lifting weights and I'll feel like I could lift Olympus. Next week, I'll go in and the same weights that I was pressing like nobody's business, I'm struggling and I feel like I'm about to die, but I push through anyway. And if I can't do it, you lower the weight. Don't have an ego about it. That's just what happens in training. But that mixture is something that I found really beneficial. On top of it, my personal trainer told me, because I asked him, it's like, all right, look, I know I got to bulk up and do all this type of stuff, but I'm losing a lot of weight because I was dropping pounds like no one's business. And he looked at me and he goes, are you still shadowboxing and hitting the bag a lot? I go, yeah. He goes, well, stop. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean stop hitting the bag? Stop doing my martial art training. That's ridiculous. He goes, don't stop it completely. Just lay off with how much you do. Because you have to realize I would go from 2 hours or an hour and a half of bodybuilding and athletic bodybuilding, which I call it. I don't even remember where I heard it from. I know I didn't come up with that. I heard it from somebody somewhere, probably over the internet, and I just adopted it, and now it's in my head. But I would do my bodybuilding stuff and my aesthetics and athletic stuff, and then I would go home, I would eat, I would get my job done or my voice acting, whatever. And then at night, I would shadow box or I would train. Or if I was at the gymnasium where I had access to a heavy bag, I'd beat the shit out the bag. Just do my rounds like I normally would for fight training. And he goes, yeah, see, that's why you're losing weight. He goes, Jay, you have a stupid fast metabolism. You're naturally lean and you already have trouble putting on weight. Why do you think you're losing so much weight? He goes, like, cut back the rounds. I'm not saying don't do them. Just cut back the rounds that you are doing. And he had a point. He absolutely did. So I cut down the rounds, not doing as many as I'd like, but I'm still doing them. It's just, he was right, because now I never looked at fight training as cardio. It was more just, this is me getting better at fighting. So now now unfortunately I've made this stupid decision, but I've already cemented it in my brain that, okay, what cardio do I like? What cardio do I actually like? Well, I hate running, but I'm going to run anyway. So I'll do my sprint training at this big ass field where I can sprint back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, 10 seconds on, and just keep getting to one end to the other end and rinse and repeat until you die. That's just what it is. And then I also realized I like riding bikes. And I didn't realize that before. I had to sit down and think about it and go, what cardio would I actually do that isn't fight training? Because fight training cardio is different than cross training. How do you run faster? By running fast. You have to practice it. How do you get better cardio? You have to do cardiovascular exercise. Now, we know that's good for your heart. It's good for your lungs. It's good for everything about you. It can help boost your metabolism. I don't know if that's true. I just said it. I'm not a personal trainer. Don't always take my advice. Just, I've trained a lot and I understand these things. How true it is, I don't know. Maybe it's just my body. But either way, changing gyms was an interesting situation, considering the gym I go to now is cool. I got no problem with it. It closes earlier than the gym I used to go to. So I'm having to do my training when I'm at that gym far earlier in the morning than I normally would. Because at that other gym, I would get, the one I was at for like 2 years, I would get up around, I think I could get away with getting up at 7:30 in the morning and going in there by 8 or 9 a.m. and training. Then by the time I'm done, it's like 10 or 11 o'clock and I can go fuck off and do my job. This other gym closes at 8 p.m. every night and it's not open weekends. So I'm going, oh, shit. So I had to pattern my rest days around the weekends now because my weekends are just tied up with other stuff now. That's unrelated to voice acting and acting and other shit. It's just, I'm just no longer accessible like I used to be. So now I've had to take my whole training and just flip it on its head and just completely change how I train. And it's oddly, it works in a way because, okay, for example, I was doing, and this is because my personal trainer was trying to torture me, I was doing chest and shoulders, back, arms, legs, and then whatever I didn't do, I would go back and double down on it. Well, now I've had to kind of do the classic bro-y split shit and do push-pull legs, but I don't take a rest day in between because I'm a psychotic person who just wants to train, and I love training and I love fight training. So I've also made a decision to go back to either a mixed martial arts gym or a kickboxing gym or something like that to start fight training again. And a big reason for that is because I know I got injured in the past, and for whatever reason, there's a piece of me in my heart, and I think every fighter feels this way. Anybody who's ever fought, I think they'll understand this. And I'm talking about competitively, not somebody who's mollywopped some fucking idiot in a bar. I'm talking about people who have fought competitively, amateur, professional, what have you. It's there. And there's something about fighting that reaches me, and martial arts that reaches me and touches me. Phrasing. That's unlike anything else I've ever experienced. And I don't think that's ever going to go away, especially with the age I'm at now. Myself personally is I have a thirst for combat and a thirst for violence, but not hurting people violence in the street or robbing a bank and pistol whipping people, like not Grand Theft Auto 5 violence. I'm talking about controlled violence where somebody's trained and I'm trained and I get to go fight them, or open sparring or any of that type of stuff. And just the martial arts in itself has been ingrained in my mind and my personality and who I am and my psychological makeup since I was a very young kid. So I don't think I'll ever get away from it. Am I still preparing for this bodybuilding competition? Abso-fucking-lutely. I just understand that my need for combat has to be satiated, because if not, I understand myself as a person. It could probably lead me down a bad road. So a big lesson that I think everybody could take away from me giving this enormous amount of personal detail about myself is when you figure out parts of yourself, because we're all constantly trying to figure out who we are as people and what we're like and what our personality is like. When you figure out these things about yourself and you look inwardly and are very honest with yourself, and that's the hard part. You got to be honest with yourself. When you're honest with yourself and you sit down or stand or whatever and think about it and really analyze who you are as a person, you begin to understand what makes you happy, what makes you purposeful, and what makes you the most productive, and what makes you the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And I'm not saying go get stuck and hung up on fucking self-improvement, because self-improvement in itself is a trap. Because if you're looking for things to fix, you're always going to find fault. And there's a reality here that I don't think enough people speak on. You're always going to be flawed. There's no such thing as a perfect person. I'm not perfect. Nobody listening out here is perfect. Anybody who's on the internet right now telling you that they're mentally sound and they're mentally well, they're fucking lying to you, because everybody has demons and dark things and skeletons hiding in their closet. That's part of being a person. And you do not know when certain psychological chapters in your life are going to close and when new ones open. So, and I'm also not saying don't be self-aware and don't try to improve yourself. I'm just saying understand the reality of a situation. Be a little more pragmatic about it, because I was having this conversation with a couple of my personal trainer and another gym goer. I won't say names because that's fucked up. You don't do that. And we were having a conversation about knowing oneself and how much people can actually change. Because there's certain parts about my personality that'll never change, because if it did, then I wouldn't be me. Hi, I'm Jay. I'm a loud, boisterous, very vibrant type of person. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't be me. And there's other people who are middle of the road. There's other people who are low energy and very namaste and chilly willy in their vibe. And it's just one of those things. God, I can't believe I said vibe. I feel like a fucking idiot. But either way, I hope it does help all of you. And I know this is unrelated to anything else, but I mean, this was important for me to get out, because I think everybody can take a lesson from it in stuff that I go through in my life. And I realize, yes, this is a show about acting and voice acting and all this other stuff. But at the root of it, this is a show about life. It's a show about training. It's a show about acting, about video games, about movies. I realized about a week ago, if not a little longer ago, that this show is really about whatever I want and what I think people need to hear sometimes. Not just me saying things that you want to hear. I wouldn't be any good to any of you or myself if I just went on this show and told everybody shit that they wanted to hear. There's plenty of other outlets and media for that. I'm not going to do that. I got to be me. I got to be authentic to how I feel about things and how I think about things. And I won't bullshit you. That's the one thing I won't do. That's why, even if I'm in a bad mood and you can hear it in the show, and you can hear it in my voice, and you can understand that I'm going through something, I still let you all in on that to a certain extent, because I think that's honest. And I think that level of authenticity is important, and it's sadly lost in today's society. And that was a totally different tangent than what I started out with, but you get the picture. Love you. You know, I was thinking about this as I was talking about it. So I was thinking in my mind as I was talking out loud, recording this for everybody. I touched on something about the lack of authenticity in influencers on social media and just social media in general. But this kind of goes past social media. It's in everyday people. And here's the thing. People inherently are pretty fucking dishonest, and it's just what it is. It's just how most people are. I mean, more people will try to manipulate a situation to get their way more often than not. And that bothers me deeply in some ways. Now, I understand I can't change people. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I think it's just I'm very hyper aware of how I see other people play their little tricks and games, and I don't like it. I never have. I've always been a person who I'm going to be honest to myself, and that's why I will say what I think. Even if it's something that's unpopular, if it's an unpopular opinion, I don't give a fuck if it bothers somebody or if it pisses somebody off, because really, to me, it's of no consequence, be it on the internet or if I'm in my everyday life. I mean, people who I know in real life, they know me as Jay, a loud, boisterous, American. It's just, they know I'm Jay. I'm loud. I say what I feel. I say what I think, and I don't give a fuck about how another person feels about it because I don't give a shit. I just don't. And I'm just very authentic in who I am. And I think I wrote a lyric about this in one of my songs. What song was it? Oh, fuck, what was it? Oh, I can't even remember. I think it was in that song. Okay, if you go to my Spotify and listen to the song More Than You. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. I'm authentic from the skull to my shoes. That's exactly what I said in that lyric. It's a pretty good bar. I think it was, at least. And it's true about me. Whether people love me or hate me, I would rather have people love me or hate me based on who I actually am versus some created image of what I'm trying to present to people, because that's too much to keep up with. I'll just be transparent about it. Like, fuck that. Who the hell wants to do that? I understand you got to have a professional face out there when you're working or depending on your job. Yes, but there's a difference between doing that and trying to present yourself as something you're not. I'm not going to do that. I'm Game J, aka J. Game J is just a fucking online handle. I'm just J. And if I'm acting in a movie, shout out to the people who work on the movie The Turned and Hadaway and Lillian and all the other films that I've been on, True Grace and all this kind of stuff, Solarballs, blah, 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 blah. Ooh, Solarballs. I'll talk about that in a second. But like, when it comes to me as a person, for example, like how I take acting. Acting's a job. I don't think of it as any other way. I obviously I act like a professional. I always give my best effort, and I'm very objective about what I do. I don't think acting makes me special. I don't. Is it a skill? Sure. But so is being a pipe fitter. So is being a regional sales director. So is any job. Being a good bank teller. Fuck, I can't even tell you. I love my bank teller in the United States. He is awesome. Shout out to my boy Jason. Jesus Christ, that dude has saved me numerous times. I can't tell you how many times I've lost my damn debit card in a taxi or a cab or a fucking Uber. Ooh, speaking of Uber, I got something to talk about Uber in a second. And I call him. I go, Jason, I lost my goddamn card. Can you please send me a new one? And he goes, yeah, sure, Jay. I'll take care of it for you. Like, he's excellent at his work. Love the guy. But I feel like a lot of people out there just try to present themselves as something they're not. And I've always kind of taken issue with it. And I think I know why. It's because I come from a background in fighting where you can't hide who you are. You just can't. Because you could talk and say you're good and say you're this, that, and the other, but get in the ring, motherfucker. Let's see how good you actually are. And then all that bravado, all that boasting, all that shit goes away. It's gone. You either can do what you say you can do or you can't. And I think that hardened me and gave me this mindset to where, don't lie, dude. Don't lie. Don't pretend you're something you're not. Because someone's going to come around and smack the shit out you, or they're going to fucking check you. It's just what it is. And I just feel that being authentic is far more important to me than being some polished version of myself. That's not real. Will that cost me in a follower base? Maybe, perhaps, but I also don't care because I don't want to look into the mirror and go, who are you? You're just some fucking fake creation that you post on social media for. That's stupid to me. And see, this is what I mean. It all goes back to martial arts. It all comes back to the teachers that I've had and the good teachers that I've had who taught me early on that be true to who you are. Be true to who you are, and things will fall into place. And I truly believe that to this day. I still do. Despite anything and everything that's ever happened to me, I understand that if I am myself, 100% authentic, and I 10-toe who I am, things follow suit. And sure enough, life typically ends up working out for me. And I find that to be a very, very interesting thing that the universe always provides us. Now, I'm not trying to get all spiritual or hibbity-dibbity. Not hibbity-dibbity. I'm not trying to get, oh my fucking God. Sifit, you hear that? I hope everybody heard that. That's my phone going off. Ooh, hello, Snapchat. Either way. Look, be authentic to who you are. For example, I'm all about fitness. I'm never going to pretend like I know what supplements you should take or I know what workout you should do to best suit your body. I can give you ideas. I can give you options that worked for me in the past, but I don't know your genetics. I don't know your diet. I don't know this. And even if I did, there's only so much I can recommend for you. You still have to figure it out for yourself. But see, that's the difference. Some people will lie. Some people will suggest that they do know what's the best routine or regimen for you. And look, here's another thing. If we bring it back to fitness for a second. I'm 100% natural. I don't take HGH. I'm not on testosterone. I'm not on any chemical enhancement, so to speak. I'm on creatine, collagen, and protein powder. And a lot of fucking pre-workout because I clearly have a caffeine addiction dating back to when I was 13. I started drinking coffee like a fucking crazy person. That's it. Oh yeah, and I take vitamins like big fucking, and CBD. Okay, all things that are not gonna enhance a person. I mean, creatine will. After a month of creatine, you'll start getting real results in like your strength and your muscles. And collagen, yeah, it's good for your skin and all that kind of stuff. And it helps your joints and keeps you limber-y, I think. I mean, at least that's what I've noticed. I've been taking collagen for a month, and in that month, I went from having a few hiccups to now I can completely do the full splits again. However, I can also equate that to focusing more on, my stretching that I used to do all those years back in Taekwondo. So I think that's partially from stretching, being so gummy, like Gumby as a kid, from stretching as a kid, that even as an adult, your body doesn't forget that. I mean, I've had that advantage. Not everybody has that advantage. See, that's what I mean. It all depends on you as a person, but authenticity is lacking today in today's society and people. And it's sad. And that's a big reason why, like I said earlier, even if I'm in a bad mood, I'll still do a show. I'll still let you in to see that, because that's people. That's to let every single one of you know that I'm still a regular guy. I don't look at myself as anything spectacular or anything like that. I'm an actor. I'm an artist. I do all this stuff, but I'm no different than any of you. Just because my job is different and a little more in the public eye does not make me better than you. And I get real fucking sick and tired of actors who tilt their nose up and really think that because they're an actor, because they're famous, or even if they're not famous, just because they're in the arts and entertainment community, they somehow have a reason to feel superior. You're not fucking superior. Don't make me laugh. Seriously, actors are probably the least qualified to tell anybody about anything. Like, look, actors, all of us, and I don't give a fuck what any of them say, and I'm probably not going to get a lot of acting friends out of this. They're probably going to hate me for it, and I don't care. Actors are professional liars. That's all we are. We're pretending to have emotions and pretending we're playing make-believe all fucking day. We're just pretending to have these emotions that we're not actually feeling in the moment. Now, yes, we could be channeling that from a place, but we're not these characters. We're just actors. It's just one of those things that I don't think a lot of actors talk about openly. And maybe it's just the approach that they have to acting that's different from mine. But my honest opinion on acting and these types of things are, I'm an actor. It's my job. It's my professional duty It's my professional obligation to make sure that I go into every role and give it my best performance that I can. But it doesn't mean that I'm better. It's just what I do for work. It's my career. Do I take my career seriously? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean I think because my career is acting and making music and voice acting that I'm any better than anybody else. It's just like when I start doing this plan that I have for social media, when I really start getting that in full flow, when I really break it out, it doesn't mean that I think I'm better than any of you. I mean, look, if you see me post about bag workouts or fitness or something involving with acting or any of this type of shit, this is just coming from who I am as a person, unless I'm promoting like a project that I'm a part of. That's just part of my job. I'm doing my job as an actor to promote the projects I'm a part of so more eyeballs can see what these people are paying me to do. That's what it comes down to. But authenticity is important. And I feel that, like everybody else out there, I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. And I don't ever want to run away from that. And this goes back to something that I'll repeat again. This is why that even if I'm not in the best mood, I'll still make a show. Because I think just doing it is important. Because if nobody else is going to do that out there, because everybody on social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they all want to show the best sides of themselves. And I go, that's not real. That is not real. Be who you are. I understand that people could potentially damage careers and all this kind of stuff, but there's a difference. I'm not talking about spazzing out and having a fucking mental breakdown. I'm saying be honest. Be a little more honest with your audience and your demographic and people who fucking pay your way of life. I just don't think it's that complicated. And maybe I'm wrong. I could be, but I don't care how other people take this. This is just my opinion on the matter. That's why it's on my show. Because I'm pretty sure if I said that on anybody else's show, they would probably not air it. Fuckers. So I talked about Uber a second ago. And yeah, I got a little story here. So this is just life with Jay. I was grocery shopping, doing the most ordinary, mundane things in the world. You go get groceries because food is a thing. Get my food, get my groceries, got some extra hooks and stuff so I can further dampen some of this audible background noise that I got going on, this fucking room echo that I hate to the life of me. It's killing my soul. So I got to I ordered an Uber, booked an Uber. Uber came through. And I was in the middle of getting my shit together, getting my, grocery cart and pushing it to the car. And I see two people get inside my fucking Uber. And I walk over before they pull off and I look at the driver and I go, because I checked the license plate on the application and it was my Uber. And I went, oh, okay. So I walk over and just go, hey, what's up? That's my Uber. And I'm pointing at those other two like, that's not me. I'm Jay. And he looks at me. He goes, Jay? I go, yeah, I'm Jay. They're not Jay. Like, get out. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. That's my car. And two people open the car doors. And this woman, two women, get out the car. And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. My name's Gladys. I'm like, yeah, well, Gladys ain't Jay. Fucking beat it, bitch. Like, I wasn't happy. And the driver, to his credit, he goes, yeah, you're not Jay. You need to leave. So it was a short altercation, but it was one of those things where I'm going, are you fucking serious? The fuck is your problem? Get out of my goddamn car. What are you going to do? Steal the fucking Uber? You do know that motherfucker is not going to go to a different address. You have to change that address. If you want to change an address on Uber, you have to do it over the application while you're in the car or before the car gets there so the driver can confirm it. And then the rate changes. So I feel like these people tried to get into my fucking Uber to catch a free ride because you had to prepay on Uber. But that's not how it works. It's like, oh, you fucking dummies, dude. Get out of here with this shit. You see what I mean? People are just inherently dishonest, man. Most people are full of shit. And an alarming amount of people are so much fucking stupider than they fucking think they are. It's actually kind of funny. But suffice it to say, Jay almost got in a fight today because someone tried to steal his fucking Uber. Fucking people, man, they're retarded. Moving on to something a little different, I actually saw the Karate Kid Legends movie. As people know, I'm a big fan of the Karate. If I had to be a fan about everything, it's fucking Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Holy shit, have I made enough videos about Cobra Kai? No, I haven't. And the only reason the other season 6 part 2 and part 3 videos aren't done is because I lack the technology to make them right now. I'm running off a laptop right now and it is not capable of video editing. I've been looking for an editor and it has been a nightmare. So if anybody out there is listening who is an editor, slide in my DMs. I think we got a conversation we need to have because I am in need of a fucking editor like nobody's business. I hear you, everybody. I know what you want from me. I know you want me to continue the Tindalos series. Cited TV wants me to continue Tindalos, but they understand. Everybody at Cited's awesome. This is the production company I work for and distributor who also distribute Phrasing with Jay and produce a lot of my content. Yo, they're cool. They understand. It's like, hey, when you get the computer fixed and set up, continue out Tindalos. So it's on a hiatus, but if you're an editor, hit me up. Anyways, I watched Karate Kid Legends, and I can't speak for other people, so I'm just going to go about my feelings on the show or the movie. I watched it once, and this was last night around midnight as I was going to sleep. But I ended up staying up way later than I should have, watching the goddamn movie because I was so invested. But that could also be a throwback to just the fact that I love the Karate Kid and Daniel LaRusso and all that shit. And Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Badass. Okay. Karate Kid Legends is about Lee Fong. I think that's his name. Yeah, Lee Stuffed Crust Fong. Yeah, he calls him Stuffed Crust because he walks into a pizza place and he asks for a stuffed crust pizza. And it's fun. It sounds so stupid, but it actually fits. It's that's way more real of a nickname than you would ever imagine. Because, like, dude, people get the weirdest nickname. Like, dude, I used to get called Stir Fry. Okay. So I understand, like, I could buy into somebody being called Stuffed Crust who's also just so happens to be an Asian person because of something silly they fucking said. Like, dude, that's just life. But the Karate Kid Legends movie stars Jackie Chan. I don't remember the other fucking kid's name. I apologize to you, kid. You're a great actor. You did a good job. And Ralph Macchio. And as Daniel LaRusso. And that was what I really want to talk about today. The Karate Kid Legends movie in itself, if you're a fan of the Karate Kid franchise, you'll watch this movie and you'll just accept it as what it is. Is it the best movie? No, it's not. Not by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like it as a Karate Kid movie. One thing in particular I can talk about is the fight scenes. The fight scenes were very reminiscent of Jackie Chan, and then obviously I did a little digging, and in my research, I had discovered that Jackie Chan did a lot of the fight scenes. Like, I don't know how much he did in it, but I know that a lot of it, he had influence and had a lot of say in. And it was interesting because I think they did a good job of making sure to merge the Karate Kid movies, at least the first one, and the other Karate Kid movie that had Jaden Smith in it, that had Jackie Chan playing Mr. Han. And that was the most important part. The thing that mattered most to me was seeing how they fit Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han into this Karate Kid universe. Now, what has been established is that Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso exist in the same timeline, in the same universe. Also, at the end of the movie, I won't spoil it, but, because I don't want to. I actually want you all to go seek this out if you're a Karate Kid fan or anything like that, or a Cobra Kai fan. Cobra Kai, like I said, badass. Cobra Kai exists in the same universe in this franchise. It exists in the Karate Kid Legends movie. So Mr. Han, Daniel LaRusso, Cobra Kai, they all exist in this universe. And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was badass. I thought the way they tied it in was kind of cool. I won't spoil it, but I thought it was cool. And the movie itself is, it's pretty interesting. It's about a story of the new Karate Kid. He's from China and he's a Kung Fu practitioner, and he moves to America and he trains this girl's father in Kung Fu because he's a boxer and he owes this guy some money who owns a gym, and he's having one more fight to hopefully win a shitload of money, and it doesn't really go too well for him. But then the movie shifts from that plot line, which they spent a lot of time on it, I will admit, a little too much in my imagination. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. Then they had to focus back on Lee Fong and Jackie Chan's involvement, and then bringing in Daniel LaRusso into the whole fold. And Daniel LaRusso's not even in it for probably about half a movie. I think about half the movie goes by before you see Daniel LaRusso. However, I will say, when Mr. Han, Jackie Chan's character, goes to seek out Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, holy shit, did that mean a lot to me. I don't know about other people, but to me it meant a lot. I thought it was very impactful and relevant. I went, oh my fucking God. To see Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio share a scene together because they're both good actors. Jackie Chan's a fucking global icon, and Ralph Macchio is the Karate Kid. He's always going to be Daniel LaRusso, no matter what he does. Just like William Zabka is always going to be Johnny Lawrence because he is Johnny Lawrence. He embodies that character. But when I saw Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio share the screen, and to see Mr. Han and have this backstory to where he knew of Daniel LaRusso because of Pat Morita's character, Mr. Miyagi, had a conversation with Mr. Han. So it was tied into it as Mr. Han and Mr. Miyagi knew each other in the past. And it happened in the 80s where Mr. Miyagi told Mr. Han all about Daniel and how Mr. Han was trying to get Daniel LaRusso to come help train Li Fong because to Mr. Han, Li was as important to him as Daniel was to Mr. Miyagi. And that it was a good way. I think it's the best thing they could have done. Probably the only option they had to try to sway a Daniel LaRusso character to come help them because, like, dude, Daniel LaRusso's in his 50s or 60s now, and he has a life, and he felt like he couldn't just uproot himself and just go shift off to go somewhere else to help somebody he didn't really know. But I understand why they did it. I mean, you're honoring your teacher. I feel that way every time I teach somebody Muay Thai, or I teach somebody Taekwondo, or I teach somebody what I've learned from my instructors who took their time and gave me their blessing. I mean, I lived with the Muay Thai instructor for like 3 months, and he taught me so much about Muay Thai, about life, about combat sports, and just everything. And I honor all my teachers by passing down what I know to the new minds who want to absorb it, no matter what age they are. So I can personally relate to that sentiment of Mr. Han seeing Lee as important to him as Daniel LaRusso was to Mr. Miyagi, because that's what happens. I mean, I still think about my former students today, and I wonder how they're doing. A lot of them, I shuffled them off to other gyms because there were things, they were ready to go. It was just that time for them to go, because all good things must come to an end. And the Karate Kid movie in itself, like, there's the fight with the bad guy because the bad guy belongs to the gym. That's not Cobra Kai. It's nothing like that. It's the asshole gym where he's a good champion of the 5 Boroughs tournament. And I will say it was really slick on how they put together the 5 Boroughs tournament. I love the little CGI splashes they put around things and how they had the point system set up. And I like the fight scenes. The fight scenes were well done. It wasn't a bunch of green screen bullshit. It was martial artists doing things that they could do, and it was impressive. It was very impressive to see a movie stay so grounded and do things that were incredible, but it was stuff that was within the capability of a human being, because it's not a Marvel movie. It's not a bunch of green screen and wires and superpowers. These are martial artists fighting at a high level, at the highest level they possibly could. And I like it. So, I mean, if you're a Karate Kid fan, I would say go watch it, and you'll probably enjoy it more than just a regular viewer who doesn't have a connection to the Karate Kid or Cobra Kai. But you'll still probably like it. So, I mean, for me, go check it out. I just think it's worth your time to watch at least once. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for. Yeah. This is going to be about Solarballs. I went into the Solarballs Discord, and I said hello to everybody, and shout out to everybody who populates the Solarballs Discord. I really always have a lot of enjoyment talking to all of you, and just talking to you all in general. And I appreciate how much you like and love my character as Planet X and the involvement I had with the Solarballs production. And I asked everybody to submit questions so I could answer them for everybody. So this is a little bit of a Q&A section about Planet X, and there are some other questions that I compiled together that aren't really related to Solarballs, but I felt it was a good thing to do for everybody, because a lot of you follow me from Solarballs, or you follow me from my Tyler Durden video. Shout out to the person who gave me that email. I won't name names because that's doxing, and that's a crime. So you don't do that. But hey, I got your email and I read it, and I understand where you're coming from. And believe me, I love you to death for even taking the time out of your own life to submit that email to me. That meant a lot to me. So I know you're listening right now and you know who you are. So believe me when I can say that I genuinely appreciate you for taking that time more than you'll ever know. And words cannot describe it. But yeah. But I've compiled some questions, and I'm not going to say the name of who did it because I haven't asked anybody if that was okay. I completely forgot. So I'll just list off the questions and I'll just rattle off the answers. And I don't know how long this segment's going to go, but I felt it was my privilege and responsibility to answer these questions that you've had. So the first question is, when did you first get the offer? And they're talking about for Planet X. When did you first get the offer? How did you get the offer? And what was it like the first few times you voiced him, considering he's a big talking planet and all? Okay. I don't remember exactly when I got the offer to portray Planet X, but I can tell you how I got the offer. The creator, the director, contacted me because I've had a working relationship with that person for a multitude of years. And it was simply, they asked me to play Planet X. And of course, my answer was yes. And I wish there was a more romantic story to it, but the reality is they contacted me. I said yes, and there, boom. Didn't have to audition, none of that. He just knew I was right for the role. And to his credit, he was absolutely right. And I have always loved portraying Planet X. And for the other part of the question, and what was it like the first few times you voiced him? Believe it or not, the way I talk normally is closer to Planet X than some people might actually realize. I mean, because my natural range of speaking is very low. I have a low baritone. I have a very bassy voice, if you can't already hear. So for me to do lines like the Planet X lines in general, just except the duh, the duh, that one was kind of fun. But what was it like when I voiced him? It really wasn't acting to me, because there was a part where I would read the Planet X character and I could identify with him. Planet X is not a bad guy. He's not a villain. He's misunderstood. And he was kind of outcasted unfairly. And I can identify with that. I can identify with being judged and kind of being pushed into a corner where you feel like the only thing you can do is to kind of seek vengeance, as incorrect as that may be. I get it. Philosophically speaking, of course. And so voicing him the first few times, it was very natural. It was very easy for me to slide into this Planet X character because there's a lot of pieces of Planet X that I identify with just as a person, not just an actor. But as an actor, I found it easy because my natural voice was what was required. And it's not difficult for me to kind of give a mysterious, inviting, warm, soothing, kind of captivating style of voice because it's a natural gift that I was blessed with. What I do with it is completely up to me. And it was very easy for me to slide into that character. The next question was, will we see Planet X ever again in Solarballs, or is that classified info? Ooh, okay. Here's the thing. Never count Planet X out. Now, I can't confirm nor deny, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Planet X, you haven't heard the last of him. When will he come back? I don't know. In what capacity? I'm not sure. But I do know that Planet X is a popular character. And I owe all that credit to all of you. And I don't see the Solarballs production, not recognizing that and not wanting to like go back with Planet X to some extent. When that will happen, I'm not sure. I have no idea, but you will all know about it the moment I do and when I can publicly talk about it. And I will absolutely come back and voice Planet X. Are you kidding me? I am Planet X, the character. So, of course, I'm absolutely going to say yes if and when they invite me back to be Planet X again. 100%. I love that role. It means so much to me. And since Solarballs, this is the next question. Since Solarballs uploads very frequently, did you have to record lines for him almost 24/7? During the Planet X arc, there was a lot of recordings. Now, it wasn't like every day or 24/7, but it was very frequent. It was very frequent. There were months where I always had something to do. I always had voice lines. There was always, hey, Jay, we need you to voice this thing like previously on Solarballs. There was always these little things that they would have me come back and do. And I was very happy to do it because as portraying Planet X, I loved doing it. It was fantastic. So it wasn't 24/7, but it was very frequent that I would always have to section out chunks of time during that Planet X arc when it was in the recording stages where I would have to section out time to where I could get the Planet X lines done before I had to go off to other voice acting gigs or music I had to make or anything else I had on my plate, professionally speaking. The next question is, did you ever expect your character to get as big as it did? This is an easy one. I had no idea. I had no idea that Planet X would become as popular as he became. When I read for Planet X and when I started doing the lines for Planet X, I was going, okay, this is a cool character. And that's really what it came down to. I just thought Planet X was a dope character and I loved being him. I had no idea that the Planet X character would explode as much as he did with all this fan art and everybody just really loving Planet X as a character. And I really do appreciate it because it's really given me, in a way, ever since I portrayed Planet X, like professionally speaking, it's been wonderful for my career. Because if anybody goes, what have you done? And I go, well, I'm Planet X for the Solarballs. I either get two things. I either get, you're Planet X, or send me the link. And then they see a link of like an episode that I've done. They go, oh my God, you got a shitload of views. It's like, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And that always helps me book work. But no, I never expected Planet X to get as big as he did. I had a suspicion that he might be popular, but I didn't think he would be as popular as he became. This is a cool question. If you don't mind me asking, what's your favorite dinosaur? That's easy. My favorite dinosaur is a Rarasaurus. I know, that's kind of stupid. If I go and tell you what my real favorite dinosaur is, I would have to say the Velociraptor. And shout out to Baby Raptor. And that's not because I know someone called Baby Raptor whose avatar is a Velociraptor. No. I liked the Velociraptor since I saw the movie Jurassic Park as a kid. I thought the Velociraptors were amazing. I thought they were awesome. They were breathtaking to me. And I just love this whole concept of these raptors who were a little smaller in stature, but they were vicious and they hunted in packs and they were super intelligent. It's like, oh, this is fucking fearsome, man. Fucking fearsome. Let me scroll down a little bit. This next question is, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the way the Planet X arc ended? You know what? Yes, I am. Because Planet X, throughout the entire arc, you saw from the beginning of him to the end of him, he kind of had to go away. He kind of did. He kind of had to appear, make his impact, and then leave when that arc was over. Because I don't see I never saw Planet X as a character that had the type of staying power to be a mainstay character. I always felt that he was one of those special characters that would come around and then kind of fade back into the solar system and then pop his head back, pop his blueberry back up when he felt necessary or when the story called for it. And he just, over time of doing the Planet X arc, I realized, okay, this character's unique and he can't be a main cast character, but what he can be is a reoccurring character that people are always happy to see and they always want to see what's going on with him. So I always felt that was a type of position that he had to have in the Solarballs universe. And I'm really happy the way the Planet X arc ended. I mean, he kind of came full circle. He went from, the arrival to kind of getting a little villainous and treacherous to redeeming himself and understanding that he did do wrong at a certain point in time. And the other question is, what was it like to voice act for Planet X? And I talked about this earlier, but the best way I can answer it is it was great. It was just a great experience. I loved voicing Planet X. I was always really happy and excited whenever I got a new script for Planet X. I would read through it. I would go, oh yeah, hell yeah. Because you have to realize I'm just an actor. So I'm discovering more of this story as it's being written, as it's being delivered to me, because it's an episodic format. So I was just overblown with joy to be Planet X and to learn more about him as the story progressed. And if you want to know on the technical side of kind of how it was being Planet X, it was very smooth. Lines didn't take that long to deliver. I rarely got contacted to do retakes or anything like that. It was just a very seamless time. It was very simple for me to do. And I think the reason was because I suited the role. I really fit the role of Planet X. And I got to give a big shout out to all the writers who work on Solarballs and all the editors and animators and the creator who put all the hard work into it to make Planet X the character that he is, because it's not just me. And I have to always say that. It's not me. Yes, I'm the voice, but my job as an actor is to give life to what's written on the page. I didn't animate it. I just voiced them. And thank you to everybody who worked on that production and gave Planet X the treatment that I really am happy to see that he got. And a big shout out to everybody here who loves Planet X. And this is another question that's relating to a question earlier. Are you going to continue your role as Planet X? Yes, I absolutely will. And then the next question is, will you voice act other characters? The answer to that is yes, if they have one for me, because there's a double-edged sword with my voice. My voice is very distinctive. I can modulate it. I can change it slightly. I can adjust it and do anything I want to it. However, you're always going to know it's Jay. You're always going to know it's Game Jay. Like, yeah, that's Game Jay's voice. Like, for example, I can't prank phone call you. No matter what I do, I couldn't prank phone call you. You would look at me, you would hear me say, hey there, smartass. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it. You'd just be on the other line, look at the phone and go, Jay, quit fucking around. I know it's you. See, I just can't do it. So yes, I would absolutely voice other characters if the opportunity presented itself. And one question was, when voice acting for Planet X, were there any lines that made you cringe or doing them, or did you feel embarrassed about voicing anything? This is kind of a small, short answer, but no, I don't have, I actually never have any issue with the material I'm given. I don't care. It could be the most vile, vicious type of lines or the worst, most horrible lines you could think of, and I'm indifferent to it. I mean, like I said, this is my job, and it is my professional obligation to ensure that I give my best effort, and it's not my job to have an opinion on the material written for me. Now, if I have creative liberties, if I am given creative freedom, of course I have input, but I'm not going to tell the writers what to write. That's their job. It's their job to write. It's my job to act. I hope that answers your question. Now, there's a few more questions before we wrap up the show tonight. And this is different. This is about voice acting in general. What motivated you to start voice acting? Is it a hard job, and was it easy for you? Okay, this is 3 questions in one, and I appreciate it. Thank you. what motivated me to start voice acting was I don't know if it was a motivation. It was just, I remember when I was still making music and I was at a show and I was just kind of like done my set. It was either I did my set or I was waiting to do my set. One of the two. It was either before or after. But I remember just kind of like chilling, just posted up. And I remember I was talking to one of my producers and he looked at me and he's like, you got a good voice. And I go, yeah, thanks. That's cool. It's weird. And he looks at me and he goes like a little pause. He looks at me and goes, you should be an actor. And I remember kind of like being stunned by that and looking at him and go, that's stupid. It was such a weird thing to say. I just thought it was stupid because at that time of my life, I thought I was just going to make music the rest of my life. I was a lot younger and I didn't really grasp the concept of being a voice actor and transitioning from music into voice acting, into acting. Because at that time, I wasn't acting. I was just making music and touring the local circuit and selling like physical albums at my little merch table and selling shirts and living life that way. And then, and it turned into a thing of, it wasn't necessarily motivation. It was something that just kind of occurred. I kind of fell into voice acting and acting, and I don't even know how in a lot of ways. I look back at my life now, and I look at my life now as an actor and all this kind of stuff, and I still can't for the life of me even really figure out how it happened. I just remember I got hired on to be an extra. Then I got booked as a fight choreographer. Then I started doing more on-screen work. And then I got like voice acting jobs. I mean, if you go to a YouTube channel called The Liosax, it's made by the same creator that made Solarballs. I play a character called Ox Sadler, and that was a big breakout role for me. That was an important role, and it was many, many years ago. But still to this day, every now and then I get people who know me as Ox Sadler, and I go, wow, man, that's incredible. Like another character that was very beloved, another misunderstood character with a lot of demons and a lot of baggage, and he's a sarcastic asshole, but there's a reason for, oh my God, I guess there's a theme. Oh my God, I think I've been typecast. Oh, I'm a brooding character with a haunted past who makes up for it in sarcasm and dry, sardonic wit. Oh, good God. The other question is it a hard job? Yes and no. Voice acting there's elements of voice acting and acting in general that is a hard job. Auditioning all the time. Because I'm not famous by any stretch of the imagination. And when you're not a famous actor who's under a high-paying contract, you don't pay your bills by one particular role. You get your bills paid by the amount of work you accumulate over that time period. So yes, it can be hard. But as far as the easiest part of being an actor is the acting. The hardest part is the preparation. And auditioning and talking to production and talking to payroll and talking to potential managers or agencies that might represent you and then getting a no and getting a million no's or submitting my voice reel to a place to see if they'll hire me and pick me up and them saying no or them saying yes. It's just, that's the hard part. The business side of showbiz is difficult. The show part of showbiz, which is the acting and the voice acting, that's the fun stuff. I love being on set. I love being with my fellow actors. I love voice acting. That's easy. It's not difficult for me to mix and master and record the lines. That's not hard. It's the preparation that's involved. That's the difficult part and the more business side of things, like invoicing people for fucking voice acting gigs. Like, I never thought I'd be doing this. Like, I'm like, this is a job? What the fuck? Next thing I know, it's like, hey, you got to send us an invoice. And I remember the first time someone asked me to send them an invoice, I kind of went, what the fuck is an invoice? Like, I knew what it was, but I didn't know how to make one. Like, I never had to. And then all of a sudden, now I'm doing them on a regular basis. It's crazy. And was it easy for you? I think I kind of answered it just a few moments ago, but yeah, there are some things that are easy for me in voice acting and acting. It's particularly the going on camera. I have no problem being on camera. I love voice acting, having a microphone stuck in my face and I got to record something. It's no problem to me. I could talk forever. I'll never run out of things to say because all I got to do is sit there for about a second. I'll go, oh yeah, I could talk about monkeys for about 45 minutes, or oh yeah, I could talk about fitness, or I could talk about martial arts, or I could talk about the Karate Kid, and blah, 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 blah. I can go on forever. So yes, in some ways it's easy, and in some ways it's hard. Phrasing. The next question is, if you were to give some tips to a beginner on voice acting, what would they be? Okay. There's a million tips I could give, but if I have to list it down to 5, I would say number 1 is know your voice and learn what your voice is like. Now that's 2 things, but like understand your voice, understand what your range is, and that takes time. That's not going to happen overnight. You know, I would never audition for a teenage character unless they are of a certain pitch or style of voice that they want, because I know that I have a very low speaking voice, just naturally. And no matter how high I try to make that voice, I'm always going to sound like an adult, a young adult, or a senior. I'm never going to sound like a young teenager because my voice just doesn't work that way. So I can't pretend like I can do that. Now I can make my voice sound higher to an extent, but not to that young teen level or a kid. So I just won't audition for that. The other one is you can use a USB mic, but I wouldn't recommend it. There is a pretty steep startup cost to voice acting because I'll put it this way. You could be the best actor in the world, but if your equipment is subpar, you won't get hired just based on the fact that your equipment is subpar, because you could have the best audio engineer in the world, the best mixer and master engineer ever, but they can't polish a turd. The audio quality has to be there. And if it's not, there's not a lot they can do with it. I've been an audio engineer for other productions before. I've helped other people in trying to clean up audio for them. And there's been times where the bass recording was so low quality, or there were so many problems attached to it that I had to tell the guy, like, hey man, look, you got to get this dude to re-record it. That's the only way. There's no way I could make this work. It doesn't matter how many times I denoise it, how many times I go in and I change the amplification or de-amplify certain syllables, or how many times I try to do everything I can. There's only so much I can do. So the bass recording has to be good. Another one I'll say is, don't be afraid to audition. Just audition your ass off. And audition for things that scare you. And I've said this on previous episodes. And the reason I tell you to audition things that scare you is because that's where the challenge lies. It's easy to audition for something you think you're going to get, or you think you have a good chance at getting. Audition for things that you have to learn a new accent. You have to learn a different way or cadence of speaking, for example. Perhaps they need you to sound a bit villainous and a bit methodical in how you talk. Sometimes you need to do things that scare you in order to get results, in order to grow and evolve. And this also adds into what I was talking about earlier about knowing your voice. And something else that I'll tell you is practice. This sounds stupid, but you have to practice. For example, if you have to do an accent, you're not going to get good at that accent if the first time you try it is when you audition. Take the time to practice some accents. Take the time to practice different ways of speaking, different cadences. Watch other, not voice actors necessarily, but like, look at things that you're a fan of and try to mimic them. And from there, you're going to get an understanding of where your voice range is and where your pitch is and how you can modify your voice to sound similar. Like, can you sound similar to an actor you like? Or can you give your own inflection? Can you match their cadence? Do you understand the rhythm and how they speak, how they say certain words? Shout out to Stevie Richards. He's very simple, right? I say because. Stevie Richards on his podcast, he goes, because. And that's just a little distinction in how he talks because he's from Philly. I'm from Chicago. We talk differently. It's just one of those things. And you got to learn how to pick up these inflections. Just even in accents like, hello, baby. Did you miss me? There's a million different things you can do. And I think the best thing you could do is practice. Practice from movies you like or practice from video games that you've heard, and then it'll help you find your range and your voice. And if I could give you any other advice is, in the beginning, if you're a beginning voice actor, you're going to have to do roles that are unpaid, but that's okay because you got to crawl before you walk. Do these roles and do them in the mindset that this is getting you experience. Okay? And you have to love what you do. You have to have a passion for this. You have to like voice acting enough to where in the beginning, you're probably going to have to do a lot of things for free for just a credit, or sometimes you might not even get a credit. It might just be a minor role and they might not even credit you. I've done roles where I've not got credited. I got paid, but I didn't get credited. And in the beginning, I didn't get paid. But I played villains. I played good guys. I had a wealth of experience from just doing my own productions where I did so many characters just because we didn't have other voice actors. So I had to play my voice all the time and do different characters. It's just what it is. You have to learn. So go into those early stages in voice acting and acting in general and just know that you have to do some things for free for credits because you're not established yet. When you get established and you build up a good reputation of being reliable or a good actor or whatever positives that the people who hire you look for, or just that you get a good reputation where you can get clients on a regular basis who will hire you based on previous work. And, there's one thing I'll tell you to do. Get a demo reel together. What is a demo reel? A demo reel is a show reel, and this could be for acting or voice acting. A demo reel for voice acting is just a bunch of different characters that you've played. If you don't have that from other productions that have sent you finished work or that type of stuff, what you'll have to do is make your own. And that could be compiled together between different auditions you've done. If you don't have any of those, turn on your microphone and talk. And I'm saying get a monologue read a monologue. Do a scene from a movie you like, or if you have a really good accent, you can just freestyle it and talk in that accent. The whole point of a demo reel is to give the prospective client or the prospective production who might be looking to hire you. It's like a business card of what you can do or what you have done. And in the beginning, if you haven't done a lot, you're just going to have to record stuff that you're confident in that you can do. You can record something in your natural speaking voice, then, do another voice where it's a bit more gravelly, or do one that's a little higher in pitch. Like, there's just a million things you can do. I hope that helps you. I genuinely do. How did you and Alvaro meet? And this person is referring to the creator of Solarballs. And how was I offered the Planet X role? Well, I talked about this earlier. Alvaro contacted me and asked me directly if I wanted to be Planet X. He said he had a role in mind for me. I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's this character Planet X for the Solarballs." And I'm abbreviating a lot of this conversation because all of it I don't remember. It was a while ago. But he asked me, I said yes, and there you go. I became Planet X. The next question is, considering Planet X temporarily in brackets left the plot now, are you still in contact with Telos Media /Solarballs, and do you enjoy their content? Yes, I'm still in contact with Telos. I love the people at Telos Media. Shout out to everybody from people in payroll to the director to the animators and to my fellow castmates who I'm not close with any of them particularly, but I have a very courteous, professional interaction with them, and I very much appreciate that. So I love all of them. So yes, I still keep in contact with them. And I can't reveal much more, but suffice it to say, I'm still actively working with Telos Media. So you never know. You'll hear Jay again eventually. And do I enjoy their content? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. I think Telos Media puts out some of the best quality animation that you'll ever find on YouTube. I mean, just the rate on how they put stuff out and to the quality that they create it at. I mean, Jesus, this is stuff that you think you would see on Netflix, but no, it's for free on YouTube. Are you kidding me? Yes, I love their content. It's awesome. And that'll wrap up. I'm going to stop there because there's always going to be more questions and more stuff I can talk about pertaining to Solarballs and just other questions that fans and the like have asked of me. So if you submitted a question, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. I love you to death. And I look forward to your next batch of questions. That'll be in the next Q&A segment in the Phrasing with Jay show. That's going to do it for me now. But before I go, I'd like to tell you about a movie that I'm going to be filming. It's a short film called The Turned. And I don't know when that's going to be out because we're still in the process of filming it. But I play a very interesting character. He's the captain of a cleaning crew. And I can't say too much more about it, but I will be filming The Turned in the middle of June. And that's when filming begins. So you might see a few hiatuses depending on what's going on with filming. Also, another cool thing is I was talking to the director, writer, the head of it, and it blew me away. They're going to use one of my songs for The Turned. And I went, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I remember I got the email and they're like, hey, can we use one of your songs? Like the creator, the writer heard my song because on my stories, because I post on the Game J's Sus Instagram, I post my music on my stories. I just let everybody know, like, hey, this song still exists. Go listen to it. Hey, this song still exists. Go listen to it. And he heard one of my songs. And he went, hey, I really like that song. I think it'd be good to use for the movie. And he asked if I could use it. I said, yes, as long as you credit me and all that kind of stuff. I'm already in the film, so I'm not worried about that. Just fucking use it. Go bananas. And they agreed. So yeah, one of my songs, I'm not going to tell you which one. I'm going to let you see the movie itself and then freak out as much as I freak out when it gets when you hear it, because it's just badass. And I really like the way they're including it too. So yeah, I'm all for it. So The Turn starts filming in middle of June, and we should be done. I think it films like about a week, maybe a little longer. I can't remember exactly. I got to check the fucking schedule again, the shooting dates and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'll be doing a movie this year, and I'm auditioning for a few other ones, and we'll see if I get them. And if I do, I'll be giving you everybody updates about that. But that will conclude this broadcast day with Phrasing with Jay. Please join the Discord, 50 Shades of Jay. Check me out on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all these places, and especially on Spotify. Yeah. Oh, did I say check the Discord? Did I say join the Discord? Yeah, join the Discord. Join 50 Shades of Jay. There's a link in the description. Go do that. All right, I'm out of here. Love you.